Hey students, welcome you all to Pragyan Public School. This is Sejal Singh and I am again here with a very good new poem, The Schoolboy. So let's see. The Schoolboy. This is a poem by William Blake. So first of all, we have to see about William Blake, the poet of the schoolboy William Blake, who was born on 28 November 1757 and died on 12 August 1827. So, first of all, we have to know some more facts about the poet because it is necessary to understand how the poet is thinking and what he is going to write in the poem, which kind of thinking and which kind of genre he is having. So, about the poet William Blake, we already aware that he was born on 28 November 1757 and died on 12 August 1827. He was an English poet, painter, and printmaker, largely unrecognized during his lifetime. Blake is now considered a seminal figure in the history of the poetry and visual arts of the Romantic Age. His visual artistry led one contemporary art critic to proclaim him far and away the greatest artist Britain has ever produced. In 2002, Blake was placed at number 38 in the BBC's poll of the 100 Greatest Britons. He produced diverse and symbolically rich work which embraced the imagination as the body of God or human nature and human being. So, let's see something about this poem, The Schoolboy. The Schoolboy is a 1789 poem by William Blake and published as a part of his poetry collection entitled Songs of Innocence. These poems were later added with Blake's Songs of Experience to create the entire collection entitled Songs of Innocence and of Experience, showing the two contrary states of the human soul. The Schoolboy is a poem written in the pastoral tradition that focuses on the downsides of formal learning. It considers how going to school on a summer day drives all joy away. The boy in this poem is more interested in escaping this classroom than he is with anything his teacher is trying to teach. He, in the later half, a child in school is compared to a bird in a cage, meaning something that was born to be free and in nature it is instead trapped inside and made to be obedient. So let's see what is there in this poem. The Schoolboy by William Blake. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all the joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. So, in these two stanzas, we are going to see two different situations. In the first stanza, the schoolboy is so much happy, while in the second stanza, he is not happy with the same condition. Now, let's see how. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. Means the schoolboy loved to rise, loved to wake up in a summer morning when birds are singing on tree, when distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark. He's just imagining that the skylark is singing with him, and he's loving this company. What a sweet company he's having. But to go to school in a summer morning, just drives all the joy away from me. Then, because under a cruel eye outworn, under a cruel eye of a teacher, he have to spend the whole day, and the whole day is going in the sighing and dismay. So he is sad. Now let's see what he is saying in stanza 3 and 4. Ah, then at times I dropping it sit and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with dreary shower. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? So he's just thinking that many times I'm just sitting, dropping, and sitting and just thinking, and I'm just spending my very precious hour, anxious hour, and just thinking only because I don't like to sit and just reading the books, and I do not having any kind of enjoyment. I am not having any kind of delight while I am just taking the book and just watching towards it only. Nor he I'm not also feeling good in learning power. It look like it is a dreary shower on me, that I have to forcefully read, I have to forcefully learn the bookish knowledge. So this child don't want to sit and just uh, peep into the book and just looking towards what is given in the book. He just want to go outside, he want to get the good experiences outside, he want to learn the things, but learning by experience which he can get not in the classroom, he can get it outside the classroom. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? He's just comparing himself in this stanza with the bird who just want to fly in the sky, but forcefully he have to be kept in a cage. And that is the reason he's just thinking that how can a child when fears annoy but droop his tender wing. It seems like if someone is able to fly, but apart from having the wing, he just kept in a cage, trapped in a cage, and not able to fly. And in this thing only my whole youth is going, is spending the great time, the great moments of life, they are just wasting. O father and mother, if birds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year, when the blast of winter appear? Now, in these two stanzas, the boy want to ask his father and mother that, oh father and mother, if birds they are not allowed to blossom, okay, and the blossom season and the season of blossoming that flower just gone away, then what would happen with that bud? Like that, if the plants they are not able to strip properly and of their joy in the springing day, then that plant is also going to be uh, deep into the sorrow, and he can also spend his time in dismay. So he's thinking that this is not a good thing. So same thing he is thinking about himself, that the same condition facing that boy, I am also facing that condition. The boy want to say the same thing to his father and mother. So he just thinking, and he's just asking that how it is possible to arise in a joy in summer morning, if I have to forcefully just I have to go to school and I have to sit under the cruel eye for hours. Okay, so, or the summer fruits appear, or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year when the blast of winter appear? So he is saying that if something is not going to if the summer fruits are not going to be appear, then what will be there? We what grief, all the griefs whatever we are having, they are going to be destroy. Or bless of mellowing year, whatever blessings we are getting the whole year, we are not going to get them properly. And when the blast of the winter appear, nothing will be good, nothing will be with I'm not able to get anything with full joy if I am not going to blossom. Means the child is going to blossom when he is going to get the good things, when he is going to get the good knowledge by his own wish, by his own experience. So let's see the short summary of this poem. The first few lines of the poem marks the freshness of summer morning and the fragrance of innocence. The boy experiences his liking towards the song of birds and the huntsman blowing the horn. He likes the company, but suddenly the joy turns bitter as he should attend the school and sit in the classroom under the cruel eyes of teachers. It drives all the energy and the joy of summer. The boy is compared to a bird in cage, meaning he was born to be free, but instead is now trapped inside the classroom for formal education. Now we can see the analysis of this poem. The poem is arranged in 6 stanzas with 5 lines rhyme scheme of A B A B. This poem reflects William Blake's thoughts and alternative methods of education. It shows the draining element of classroom education and how it causes students to contribute poor learning. The poet promotes learning outside the classroom, especially learning in nature, which increases natural creativity. As a poet of Romanticism, William Blake has shown the importance of nature in the poem. The references such as summer, wind, blossoms, rain, showers, birds, and spring relate to the importance of nature. So, this was the whole poem, and we have seen all these things, whatever William Blake wanted to say by this poem. Thank you all for listening very carefully. I will meet you again with the new topic